You know, I have not much to say, that's what I've been sitting here like, bro, what should I record, bro? Like what should I record? And I just know that when that happens, it's just time for a break. Because unfortunately, not everything goes the way that we want it to. Like I want to have production all the time. You know what I mean? Like I wake up and I'm just like looking at the cameras. I'm just like, yo, what's good? Today is going to be a crappy day and we're going to get through this together. You know what I mean? Like something like that. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Right now, everything is bits and pieces like being put together. And what I'm working on right now is two things. I'm working on a recording that happened way back in, I can't remember the date. This was back when I got not arrested, but put in handcuffs and brought to the mental hospital because I wasn't paying my rent. I was ignoring everybody. It was a really bad time. I wasn't taking my medication for the longest time, and I was using weed to try to help with the symptoms of my schizophrenia. So that was happening. And I got a recording of it. And the recording, like, brings you in depth into, like, what happened. Like, you hear me screaming and everything. Like, it's really hard for me to listen to it, to tell you the truth. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's hard to listen to and to hear what everybody was saying, thinking that nobody was listening. You know what I mean? That's what's the cool thing about recording, because people act like they're not being recorded, but they are. You know what I mean? Meaning like they they act as if they are being recorded. I should change that up a little bit. They act as if they are being recorded, but they aren't being recorded. So they're not really responsible for what they say. Like they don't think that they're responsible for what they're saying and what they're doing. And what I think the big thing about recording is that we use it to harm people, and that can't happen. So we have to find a way to fix that problem, and that problem will be fixed if people start treating each other more humanely. So we're living in the future, but we have very old methods of how we treat people. And even though the world is evolving, we're not evolving. And we're very prideful in that, to say that it's good that we're not evolving. Like, screw evolving. Like, nobody needs to do that. So the other thing I was working on was a writing that I wrote some years back in 2019. This is May 2019. And I started writing more and more. And I think I have writing that goes a little bit back. But this was before I got handcuffed and put into the mental hospital. Like, I'm sitting here reading this and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is really hitting me. But I just want to talk about this one thing real quick. Then I'll get off. This is a quick little story for you guys. There was one time where I was smoking dabs with Dan and I took MDA. This is the other form of MDMA, but this is the more natural form. So to tell you the truth, I'm not 100% sure of what I've taken. I could have taken heroin for all we know. You know what I mean? Like that's a scary thing to know, but I could have taken heroin. But when I bought it, I asked for Molly. And then when I did more research on it, I found out that it was sassafras. So sassafras has this golden color to it, and it's very hard to find any information online about it. That's why I want people to step up. I really need people to start stepping up and to really be a part of the world because they are censoring a lot of things for people, but they don't realize what they're censoring. Like when people talk about politics, they sound like they know what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like I can hear a person talk about politics, like I can hear my sister talk about politics, and I'm sitting there nodding my head like, yeah, 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 that makes so much sense. Like for Israel and Palestine, people say that Israel's in the wrong and Palestine is in the right, but the people that are with Israel, they're like, those are terrorists. And you're like, yeah, I heard they were terrorists, but like, are you sure you're supposed to be treating people like that? And, nobody likes the Jews. It's like, it's something like that. So, uh, so like, I'm on a side where it's like, I kind of see it firsthand. You know what I mean? Like, the drug world sees that firsthand because people say that it's wrong and it's taboo and that you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't even be touching it. But yet, those people that are saying that you shouldn't be doing drugs are going out to the liquor store on Sunday to pick up their liquor and have a party on Sunday night. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's a drug too. And that's probably an even worse drug than the other drugs that you're talking about. So then we touch upon like psychedelics and heroin and stuff like that, and how people have made this stuff a taboo. And you realize that we don't talk about it in class. Like they're talking about slavery and how they're trying to get rid of information about slaves and stuff like that. That's what the Trump administration is trying to do, apparently. And they're trying to say that slavery was good, even though it wasn't good. If it was good, then we would have never stopped it. It was obviously bad. But this is what my sister tells me. This is the bits and pieces of information that I get from my friends and my sister about what is going on in the world. But nobody talks about marijuana. Nobody talks about heroin. Nobody talks about mushrooms. Nobody says anything. But where do you get that information from? You get it from the rock stars and you get it from the news. And they talk about it very briefly. They're like, you know what? Somebody overdosed. No, like even in the news, you barely hear about overdoses. Like you don't hear about that stuff. And when they talk about marijuana, they talk about how bad it is and how it causes mental illness. And it's a very quick conversation. Like I'll mention marijuana to Belinda and she'll be like, yeah, but it causes mental illness. So yeah, that's it. We're done talking about that topic. And nobody talks about it in depth anymore. So I'm here to talk about these stuff in depth because I've dealt with it and I really appreciated what it did for me. Even though it wasn't all 100% good. My dad just started, you know, blowing the lawn outside. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure that you can hear it. But I'm going to keep going because I actually want you guys to hear that. I want you guys to get the real in-depth feel of my setting. Like, just imagine, you know how we get rid of all the noise in our audio? Well, what if I was homeless and underneath a train station and I was recording myself and I was saying what needs to be said and hearing if anybody wanted to hear what was going on in my mind? Like, that's how I feel. That's why I'm like, yo, bro, get everything, bro. Because people love fake. People love fake and it's very annoying. But back to the story. I got Molly from a friend and we drove to Staten Island. I picked it up and then I went back to New Brunswick. Edison's right next to New Brunswick, but we went back to New Brunswick and I started eating it. And when I was eating it, at first I didn't feel anything, I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I just went on autopilot. I went straight to Dan's house and then we started smoking up dabs. And that's when everything started going haywire. You know what I mean? Not, it wasn't bad at first. Like in the very beginning, guys, in the very beginning, MDMA or MDA, SAS. I'm going to start calling it SAS. SAS with dabs was probably the most amazing feeling I have ever felt in my life, even though I barely remember it. I was just so in tune with life. I was definitely in tune with life. Like I'm sitting there like, yo, what is good, guys? How are you doing? I'm doing great. You know, like, what do you guys want to do today? Do you guys want to smoke? All right, let's smoke. You know, let's make this a great day. Like, it's not even my stuff. Like when I went over Dan's house, it was all his stuff. Like he wouldn't let you use your stuff. That's the type of drug dealer that he was. He was a very nice guy, and he was like, you know what, you don't have to bring your stuff. But I would always try to bring my stuff. But you got to remember, I was very broke at the time. Didn't have any money, and I would always try to bring my own stuff, but when I say I tried to bring my own stuff, I've probably only brought my stuff once or twice. I brought a packed packs and I brought it over and I was like, here you guys go. And he would gladly take it. It's not like he would be like, put that shit away, bro. No, he would take the packs. The packs is a vaporizer, guys. He would take the packs and we would all smoke together. You know what I mean? We would have a great time. And that's what I did on MDA, on SAS. I just went on autopilot. I ate it, went on autopilot. I was feeling so good. I didn't tell anybody that I was taking it. I didn't say a word. The only person that knew I was on it or knew that I had it was Rowan, my friend from Staten Island. We that we together we went and got it. You know what I mean? So he was asking me, he was like, what are you going to be doing with it? I'm like, I don't know, bro. He's like, are you going to have a party? Are you going to have girls around? I'm like, you know, Rowan is younger than me. I'm like, how old was I? I was 20. I was 20 years old, and Rowan is probably 17 years old. It becomes a thing with Dan, you know, to hang out with the younger generation, and I'm really 100% for that. I completely understand that. I highly support it. Like, definitely, the younger generation needs to hang out with the older generation. Like, we don't get that a lot, and usually it only happens with siblings. Like, we try to simulate it, but it needs to be out in the real world where it's like, all right, this is a 25-year-old and you're 20 years old. How are you guys going to interact? Because usually you don't interact. So when you do interact, what happens? And I'm telling you, magic happens. Magic definitely happens. So I'm on SAS. I'm gonna keep messing that up. Sorry, guys. I'm on SAS. I'm on SAS, and I'm smoking it, and then like I'm thinking, I'm trying to think how long ago this was, because like it was probably a week ordeal or 2 weeks. And towards the end of it, what I did, I smoked some sass with dabs again. And then I went back home. And this was after a bunch of stuff happened. Like, a bunch of stuff happened. I can't even explain everything. I'm not sure when this particular thing happened. This happened towards the end, where it was just like everything was finally done. You know what I mean? Meaning that I used up all my money. I had SAS, and then I ran out of SAS. And then so I got SAS on, let's say, Saturday. I got SAS on Saturday or Friday. Let's say Friday. I like Friday. I got SAS on Friday, smoked it on Friday, Saturday. Then Sunday took a break. Monday I got more SAS. And then that week of Monday, I was smoking it and not smoking the SAS. I was smoking dabs and eating the SAS and, by the end of that week, I completely ran out. And then what happened was I sat down one day, and then all of a sudden my vision started getting really blurry. And it was like I was in a tornado, but it was in my mind. Craziest thing was starting to happen. Like things were just breaking. It was kind of like my brain went lost a wire somewhere, went haywire, bro. And unfortunately, I blamed Dan. I was just like, what the fuck, bro? What is wrong with you? Like, what did you do to me? Because, he's the older guy. He's the one that's been helping me. And the blame immediately goes to him. You know what I mean? But it mostly went to him because I was with him more than half the time. And that's when I got the highest. I was like, yo, bro, what the hell happened? And I sent him, I was like, you fucked me. And it wasn't like a sexual thing, but that's how it came off. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to stop talking. I need to stop talking. It was like vomit. It was a come down. I was like vomiting words and I couldn't handle myself. I felt so bad to the point where I was just like, oh my, I can't see straight. I have to blame someone for this. Like, it was the most depressing feeling that I ever had. And when I was by myself, I would start vomiting words. I would be like, yo, I have to text Dan. I have to text Dan. I have to text him when I was alone. And then we met up a little bit later and we went and got food. And at this point, I was hearing voices. So it was just all 100% bad, guys. Really 100% bad. I was just on a really bad come down. I was having episodes. Remember, I'm schizophrenic. So what was happening was an episode of schizophrenia was happening. And when that started happening, whenever I was by myself, I felt like I needed to write. I felt like I needed to talk to someone. And then when I was with people, I was like perfectly fine. You know what I mean? Like, it was really weird. So that's how you see me now, where I'm just like, I'm recording everything, I'm writing everything down. That's like a side effect of my schizophrenia. But I don't see it as a hindrance. I see it as like a superpower. Like, it's amazing because now I'm documenting everything that's going on around me, something that not many people would do or not many people have the chance to do. Like, if you were a nurse, for example, how much time do you have to document? You are in a building for 12 hours a day, 3 or 4 times a week, working, and you have to worry about HIPAA and everything like that, meaning that you can't record your patients. You can't record what's happening. It's illegal to do that. It's illegal to record in a private setting, and especially in like a hospital and stuff like that. So like Dan has a really unique thing that he can do because he works from home most of the time. So he can record himself working on a computer, but what is he going to do for like sounds? You know what I mean? And you can buy in the royalty free music and just play that music as you are, you know, doing your stuff. It's possible, but then your video might be copyrighted because it's saying it's playing the wrong music, or you have to go through a lot of hoops in order to document. And I get to do that now. It's really scary because it's like I don't have a lot of money because they only give me $1,100 a month, and now they cut it down to $950 a month or something like that. And I have to save money on top of that, and the money is not even mine. Like, my sisters take control of it, and I do have a chance. My sisters are my guardians right now, guys. So I do have a chance to get out of the guardianship, because after I think like 2 or 3 years, they come back and they reconvene and they're like, do you still need guardianship? Do they still need to be guardians over you and whatnot? And you know, stuff like that. But I was reading, and that was one of the stories that popped up, and I was like, yo, let me just try to see if I can make a little podcast of that, because I haven't done really anything much. I've been posting my writings online, and yes, I'm getting likes and people are viewing my stuff, but nobody's like really commenting, and nobody is subscribing to me. It's making me sad, but like, unfortunately, the very beginnings of my writings are really, really confusing. So I have to go back and clean it up, and it's really hard to do. It's a lot. It's a lot of notes, shit ton of notes, over 3 to 4 thousand notes. 3 to 4 thousand, guys. That's more than the Bible, I think. And I should be very proud of myself. You know what I mean? Like, I am very proud of myself. But to go through it is going to take years upon years upon years. 4,000. So let's do that math real quick. 4,000 pages divided by 365 days. It's going to take me over 11 years if I do one page a day. And sometimes I don't even do a page a day because I'm recording a video and I have ideas like that. And like right now, like, can I be doing anything? No, bro. No, I'm not doing anything, unfortunately. But anyway, I have the Vocaster 2. Where is it at? Really cool thing. My dad just stopped blowing the lawn. I forgot what it's called when you a leaf blower. He started using a leaf blower. But yeah, guys, bro, this is just me trying to change the world. I'm really trying to change the world. I don't like how it is, and things need to change. And this is how we start. This is how we start. Holding people accountable for everything that they do. And, you know, I get really sad about friends too, because it's like, why do you have to try so hard to be somebody's friend? But that's the story for another time. You know what I mean? Like, right now I see it as a compliment. You know, it really helps me out. It helps certain people out because, like, for example, I don't have a lot of time. You know, it takes a lot of time to document. It takes a really long time. So all the time that I can get for it is really helpful, because when you're disabled and you don't have a job, people tend to take advantage of you, unfortunately. And I lost like more than half of this summer helping out my friend's family and other people. It sucks. It sucks. But that's typically how it works. And I want to turn it around so badly. But that's all I got to say, guys. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. You know, I'm listening to The Weeknd right now. And that's why I slowed down. I started going to his beat because I think it's really interesting to throw it around a little bit. You know what I mean? Not keep everything the same. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed.